What's going on, UCF Night Nation? Welcome to another episode of UCF Uncut. Today, we are going to preview our opponent for Saturday, 7 p.m. kickoff from the Bouncehouse. We got UCF versus North Carolina A&T. But first, before we get into that detail preview prediction, what I want to do is bring on the UCF brew of the night. And tonight, we have here a Victory Tasty Cake Peanut Butter Candy Cake Porter. It's 6%. And I went ahead and poured it up here in this mug. It's a nice thick porter. Like always, we give the beer a rating of 1 to 10. 1 being the lowest, 10 being the highest. So let's go ahead and give this a taste here. Very, very peanut butter forward, full-bodied. It's good. I would say this is a good breakfast beer. Kickoffs at 7 p.m. So if you want to have one of these at breakfast on Saturday, wouldn't blame you. This is also a good dessert beer. I think it's solid for dessert. I'm thinking about it. I'm going to go ahead and give this an overall rating of 7.4 out of 10. And that's my overall rating on this. This is a brewery that is, it's called Victory and Victory Brewing Co., and they are based out of Downingtown, Pennsylvania. Get it at Publix. It's pretty good. So check this out if you're interested. All right, let's get into this UCF prediction for Saturday, 7 p.m. kickoff. Super excited about this matchup. First, we saw some news. Cam Fancher has some back pain and leg pain, so he will not be starting for the UCF Knights Saturday. It's going to be Taven Jackson at QB1. I'm very excited about that, and I think a lot of UCF Night Nation is as well. I think we've seen enough out of Cam Fancher, hopefully for the rest of the year, and he will be a suitable backup. But very happy about Taven Jackson taking over that QB1 role, and the team seems to rally around him, and he looked electrifying on when he did get in the game. Now, let's talk about North Carolina A&T. Who is North Carolina A&T? And one of the things that I think is fascinating, and some of you older alums might have remembered this movie. I'm getting old thinking about it, but there was a movie called Drumline with Nick Cannon. Classic movie. If you've never seen it, check it out. Drumline with Nick Cannon. And Drumline was featured about this school, North Carolina A&T. They have the #1 band in the country. They are an HBCU. They are the largest HBCU in the country, which I also didn't know. So that's some fun facts about this school. They play in the FCS, the FCS, not FBS. They are Division I. They play in the Coastal Athletic Association Conference. They are 0-1. They lost their Week 1 game in a close game to Tennessee State. They lost by a field goal, 24-21. They missed the game-tying 38-yard field goal at the end of the game. And so what I did is I looked over their complete game film, watched the game. I looked at their highlights. I looked at their O-line, D-line, secondary, linebackers, offense, O-line, O-line, receivers, running back, QB, special teams. And my findings are that their strengths, let's talk about North Carolina A&T's strengths, would be their passing game, I would say. Their quarterback, Braxton Thomas, he's a Sarasota, Florida native. He was 11 for 13 for 169 yards and 13 yards per pass average with 1 touchdown and 0 picks. So not too bad through the air for the freshman from Sarasota, Florida. He's big. He's 6'3", 220. So he's pretty big, and he likes to run the ball. He had 12 carries, but he only had 6 yards on 12 carries. So not too good. But when you watch the tape, He is fast. He's quick. He likes to get out of the pocket. Their pocket was breaking down. Their O-line is very, very suspect. So he was running for his life the whole game, but he does have speed. So that's something that UCF's going to have to keep their eye on. We don't want him, getting out of that backfield and having all the, corners and linebackers stuck on their man, not paying attention. We might need a QB spy this guy because he has the speed, but he didn't find success week 1. Their rushing is decent. As a team, they had 41 carries for 133 yards. And they have a stable of running backs. It's not just one. A lot of them got carries. I think 4 to 5 of them. So overall, yeah, they had success on the ground, but they also didn't pop. When I watched the tape, their running backs look slow. They don't have a lot of wiggle or agility. They're just slow, kind of bruising backs. But even that, I don't think any of their running backs would crack the top 5 on UCF's depth chart. So not too worried about their running backs, but they do plan to run the ball. Now, their receivers also spread the ball around quite a bit to the receiver room, like UCF did week 1. They had 3 or 4 guys with 3 to 4 receptions in week 1. They do have a true receiver 1. His name is Monty Jones. He had 4 catches for 91 yards and a touchdown. That 91 yards made up one large catch where their quarterback, Braxton Thomas, basically was scrambling, running around for his life, got creative, chucked the ball downfield, and somehow Monty Jones was wide open and easy walking touchdown. So that made up a lot of his reception yards. But most of their plays are dink and dunk, not pushing the ball too much down the field. So I'm not too worried about him as far as throwing the ball. And I'm not really worried about them running the ball either. They're very vanilla as a team. They're well balanced. Let's talk some red flags and what I've uncovered. And I know UCF's coaching staff uncovered these as well. North Carolina A&T turned the ball over 3 times. When I say turn the ball over, that means basically they fumbled the ball and the ball was recovered by the other team, or they threw a pick and the pick, the other team picked off the ball. So there was a change of possession. So there was actually 3 turnovers, but they fumbled the ball 4 times in total. One of them they recovered back. So interesting, they turned the ball over quite a lot. That is not going to get it done for them. They need to clean up the turnovers. So a red flag, they turn over the ball quite often. The quarterback holds the ball out like a loaf of bread, and that's not good. That is not good. They better figure it out quick, because I think UCF's defense is going to have their ears pinned back and ready to go and let the pads do the talking. This week 2 battle at UCF Bouncehouse. Hopefully not a lot of distraction from Mother Nature, but there is scattered showers around kickoff at 7 p.m. I posted on Twitter today from Wesh News. We just can't go without having a normal game. Why can't we just have a normal game? All right. Another red flag is their punt returning. They're absolutely terrible. They had 5 punt returns for 30 yards total, averaging 6 yards a punt return. So their special teams is not looking too good. Also, their kicking game, they missed the game-tying field goal from 38 yards out. So they might have some work to do in the special teams area. Penalties. Geez, they're a super penalty team. They had 8 penalties for 55 yards. One thing about penalties that'll kill you as a coach, as a fan, anybody that watches the game, you're shooting yourself in the foot with self-inflicted penalties. And yes, I think the refs were terrible in week 1 versus UCF, but even if this is the case, 8 penalties for 55 yards, if you're this North Carolina A&T team, you sure could have used those 55 yards. That would either produce more points for you, flip field position, or at the end when you needed that 38-yard field goal, maybe moved you a little closer and you knocked that through, and who knows if they would have won the game. But nevertheless, they're a penalized team, and hopefully they get that cleaned up. UCF definitely needs to get that cleaned up last week with 9 penalties for, I believe, 80 yards. So that was a disaster for UCF. Now, third down efficiency. In Division I football, you want to have around a 50% or higher third down efficiency. For week 1, North Carolina A&T was 5 for 15, 33% third down efficiency. So they need to improve on that. I think that's a red flag and an area of weakness. If we can get them behind the sticks and let Sincere Edwards, who's a pass rushing specialist, get in that game, we're gonna make some noise. Their defense, they had one pick. They had one pick. Their best player on defense is their linebacker, Joshua Isaiah. He had 10 total tackles and a pick. So shout out to him. And, he's balling. It's good for him. But besides that, when you watch the tape, it almost looks like watching like high school varsity football or watching JUCO football. I feel like I'm watching Last Chance U, but they're not even that good. As far as they're just straight like size. Like you look at their defense and I'm like, oh man, their D-line and linebackers and corners and safeties, they just look small just on tape. But who knows? So their defense, they have a stud at linebacker. They had 2 sacks and 1 forced fumble as a unit. Now, their offense is pretty well balanced. Like I said, they passed for 210 yards and rushed for 133 yards, totaling 343 yards. So pretty well balanced. They favor the pass a little bit more than the run, which is very interesting. Here's a fun fact for you. North Carolina A&T, they're 0-5 in their last 5 games. And I know that's going back 4 games into 2024, but just looking back 5 games straight, they're 0-5. The last time they played a Power 4 school was in 2024. They played Wake Forest in week 1, and they lost 45-13. And we look at the recruiting rankings. Not good. Yikes. For 2025, they ranked 272nd in the country, including all FBS, D1, and FCS schools. Their transfer rank is 189th. So not too good on the recruiting trail. And then in 2024, they had a little better of a year. They ranked 198th overall. And they had a couple transfers from FBS schools, one Power 4 school with Boston College transfer, and then App State, UConn, and then they got a guy from LSU, but he didn't have any stars by his name at all. So I don't know, he doesn't seem like too much of an impact player. So bottom line, they must have 3 to 5 3-stars that were ranked at some point on their roster, if that. Whereas Jack State was loaded with 3-star guys. This team is much lower, being an FCS school, with resources, and I get that. But this should be the biggest difference as far as talent on paper. UCF is light years ahead, galaxies ahead of this North Carolina A&T roster. So overall, their quarterback, he doesn't seem too accurate, and he forces the ball when he does throw. So as long as we can put consistent pressure on him and stay low, make fundamental tackles, don't let him juke you out of your shoes in the backfield, because he's going to try to run around and mimic like Mahomes in a way. If they can, or Lamar Jackson, if they can keep at bay and keep low and stay with it and don't get shook out of their shoes, make the wrap-up tackle, bring him down. And he holds the ball out like a loaf of bread. So between that and his recklessness with the ball, I could see I'm expecting a lot of turnovers for UCF defense here. I'm expecting 2 forced fumbles, 2 picks, minimum 4 turnovers from this UCF team. I mean, Tennessee State had 3 turnovers. The running back coughs up the ball a lot, and the receiver holds the ball out like it's a loaf of bread. He coughs the ball up, and he turns the ball over with reckless throws. You think Ja'Cory Brown's reckless when he throws the ball? Wait till you get a load of this guy here, Braxton Thomas. Interesting. And he was unranked coming out of Sarasota, unranked quarterback. Very interesting. And he's young. So overall, I would say their O-line looks very bad, really bad. And I think that their running backs look slow, and they're not intimidating at all. Their defense looks very undersized, especially at linebacker. Their secondary looks surprisingly slow. Their secondary looks soft. They didn't want anything to do with the running back from Tennessee State. He just As soon as he hit that second level, they were like chickens with their heads cut off. Nobody really wanted to take responsibility to bring the running back down, and he just gashed them. So I could expect with UCF's backs to have a lot of success. If they can breach that D-line, it's off to the races. So I'm excited. I'm really excited. I think we're going to have the most success on the ground in this game, and I think we need to lean on the run game and just pound the ball. We need to dominate the line of trenches if we're going to be successful this year. We have to in this game. So we'll see. But yeah, they're very undersized. And, I think at the end of the day, we need to forget the ball possession time. We need to control the trenches. We need to go out there and dominate and let the pads do the talking. I know the players are tired of it. I'm tired of it. UCF's getting disrespected. Even after week one, we beat Jack State, which looks like more of a quality win than I thought originally. They did win the Conference USA last year, and they're a pretty well-coached team, even with a new coach. So shout-outs to them. They'll be on my radar the rest of the season. I interacted with a couple fans, and I've kind of I have more respect for them. I think they're a better team than we thought. But as far as this North Carolina A&T game goes, I'm going to go ahead and give my final score prediction. I have UCF with 42, and I have North Carolina A&T with 10. So we have a 42-10 final. Let's go, charge on, and I will see you guys after the game Saturday.